Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Next Level. Thank you all so much for joining us here today, and we really appreciate each and every one of you who have been watching the other videos and sharing them. Please continue to do that, because that not only helps us, but it also helps our guests to come on this show and share their valuable information with all of you. The whole purpose of this show, and the reason why we call it Next Level, is because it's all about taking your cannabis business to the next level. And that's what Dr. David and I are all about. And that's why we are going to be coming back to NECANN again on March 19th, 9 a.m. We're going to be doing our workshop, in-person workshop, how to raise your social capital to raise capital. Dave, my amazing co-host, why don't you let everybody know a little bit about this workshop that we put together?
Thank you so much, Chris. And the reason why this workshop is put together is a lot of us need to raise money for our businesses, whether it's cannabis or non-cannabis. And it's a skill, and you need to be taught this skill. And part of that skill set is also networking and knowing how to network properly and using your networking skills to help raise capital for your company. And that's what we're going to teach you. And instead of sitting here and hiring Chris by the hour or myself by the hour, we join together, we join forces for you, the aspiring entrepreneur, for you, the aspiring business owner, to teach you how to raise your social capital, raise capital. Because at the end of the day, if you do it the right way, it's not that tough. And you know what? It's about getting to the next level. And if you can get that infusion of capital for your business is going to go to that next level. And that's what we're doing on March 19th at 9 a.m. And for anyone interested in going to the event, don't worry. We end before the keynote speaker, Steve D'Angelo, who is on Saturday afternoon. So you will not miss that opportunity to see Steve D'Angelo speak and give the keynote address that day.
Absolutely. So make sure you sign up. And if you're watching this or listening to this before March 1st, well, guess what? We have early bird pricing available right now for tickets. So if you buy your tickets before March 1st, you'll get that special early bird discount. And if it's after March 1st, sorry, but the price will be going up. But that's why you need to take advantage of that right now and head over to NECANNextlevel.com. You can see it here on the screen, or all the links will be in the description and the show notes below. So you can click on any of them at any time and it'll take you exactly where you want to go. Now, coming up next, we have an amazing interview with Mr. Walt Rampata. We're really excited that he could give us some of his time today to talk about not only his business, but also a little bit about going to NECANN and networking in general. We have a very special guest in our studio today. I'd love to welcome Mr. Walt Rampata from Regrow Data right here today in the Next Level virtual studio. Walt, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And Walt, I'm super excited you're here, because usually I wear a Next Level t-shirt during this to talk about Chris and I's seminar we're giving, how to raise your social capital to raise capital, on March 19th. Or I'm usually wearing a Dr. David shirt. But for you today, you're worth all the hype, my friend. All the hype. We grow data. We grow token. It's worth all the hype. And I know about We Grow Data. I'm a big fan of your company. I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. But for our listeners, can you tell us about We Grow Data and what it is?
Sure. Thank you. We Grow Data is the parent company to a number of organizations. We have also We Grow Coin, which is our token, our cryptocurrency. But I'll talk first about We Grow Data. We are building an interoperable operating system for the cannabis and hemp industry, specifically focused on bridging the gaps and filling the gaps in the data that exists in our supply chain today. Challenge that we've got so much across the board in the cannabis and hemp industry is the ability to make accurate and informed decisions throughout the supply chain. Many other industries are afforded this capacity, but within the hemp and cannabis industry, due to regulations and due to laws, we're fighting a lot of different things that provide gaps in that data. So we're building an interoperable operating system to answer that cause and to help the system in many ways.
Great. I appreciate that. And then also, you talk about We Grow Data, but for the listeners, talk about the We Grow token. Is that a token that people can actually buy right now?
Yes. And Chris, you mentioned this earlier. Please check out our website if you get a chance, wegrowcoin.com. Specifically, wegrowcoin.com, our division, has all the information about our token. Number one, our contract address. So if you're purchasing our token, you want to make sure you have the correct contract address. Additionally, on our website, you will find a how to purchase or how to buy button, which will walk you through the mechanics of purchasing the token. And then there's actually a buy now button on our website, which will take you immediately to a decentralized exchange known as PancakeSwap and make it an immediate transaction for you to be able to purchase the token at that time.
You know, the one thing I give you guys a lot of credit for is you guys have a lot of videos on your website showing people how to do it. And also, Chris, you would like this as a marketing guy, and Rocket Growth Agency, I think, would really like this, is that they also have a video explaining what the company is.
Which is huge, you know, because not everybody that lands on your site knows exactly what you're doing. And, you know, let's be honest, not everybody wants to read. So, you know, video is a great way to demonstrate, especially if you have something that's a little bit more process driven and not so tangible. So a video is a great way to explain it.
So Walt, this is your first time going to NECANN Boston. So why are you going to NECANN Boston this year?
Well, you wore this gorgeous T-shirt for me today. I'm going all the way to Boston for you, brother.
Love it.
Well said.
Yeah, no, truth. You know, it's the connections, it's the people. Well, let's break it down. You know, why do any of us go to these conferences? It's, you know, it's to make those connections, those meaningful connections, and have those meaningful conversations. And everything that I've been informed about when it comes to NECANN is that this is the place where we need to be this spring.
You know, and that's a really good point. So now you're based out of the East Coast, and I know you've been to a lot of West Coast cannabis events too. And I also know you had some cannabis businesses in Colorado. Mm-hmm. So for our listeners, in your opinion, what's the difference between a West Coast conference, cannabis conference, and an East Coast cannabis conference?
The most noticeable difference to the traditional stoners out there is the amount of people smoking outside. Let's be straight.
So is it more people on the West Coast or less people?
A lot more people on the West Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, but besides that, what I traditionally have seen is that the East Coast tends to attract more medical or professional slant in their conferences, where we're tending to get more thought leaders that are pushing the envelope, whereas the West Coast tends to have more of the OGs and the people that have historical knowledge that you just want to soak up. So it's an interesting dichotomy between the two coasts. No knowledge base is better than the other. But it just seems like the East Coast tends to be more, you know, buttoned up. You know, we're around the Capitol. Maybe that's what it is, but more medical focused.
It's really great. And, you know, something I wanted to just kind of share with everyone. If you look at the bottom of the screen, it says text a certain word to 88500. And I'm going to talk to you really quick about a story of networking. And this is why Chris and I are hosting our seminar on March 19th, how to raise your social capital to get capital. So what's really interesting is that there's a company called Win Local, and it's kind of like a digital business card, but you can get a metal card if you wanted to. You could also get your QR code. Yep. You could text the information. So I met the guy behind this company at a networking event with Chris Vaglio in New York City. And this is a true story to all the listeners. And Walt, you can give your side of the story. Walt and I go to an after party in Las Vegas after MJ Biz. And we're talking and we're meeting some new people and we're networking. And all of a sudden something comes up and they go, "Oh, do you have your information?" Walt's like, "Oh, here's my share card." And I'm like, "What? You got a share card?" And I go, "Hold on, I got my share card." Boom. And literally these four people we're talking to, like, holy, what is this a setup? Are you guys setting us up right now? Like, what are the chances? But this is the power of networking. Now all three of us have this share card.
We do.
And it just talks about the power of networking. So
absolutely.
Let me ask you this, Walt. Going back to NECANN Boston, what is We Grow Data looking to get out of NECANN Boston?
More than anything, exposure. You know, knowledge base around We Grow and the organization that we've got, the things that we're trying to accomplish. And with that, the connections that can help us continue to put wind in the sails. You know, there's a growing interest in the things that we're doing. And so we're hoping to spend some time with the investment community while we're up there as well.
And I also think, too, it's great that you're going because they're actually having a crypto seminar 2 days up there. So you're going to have a lot of those people that want to learn more about crypto. And something which I think is great for all the listeners. This is a lot about Walt and the WeGrow team. I recently co-hosted an event a couple of weeks ago, and their team came up from Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania to attend this event. It was interesting because so many people there are like, I'm looking to invest into crypto, but I also want to invest in cannabis. Is there a combination of the two? And I'm like, actually, you have the CEO of WeGrow Data here right now. That's something we should talk to.
It was fantastic. What a great opportunity that was. And truly that we are sitting at the crux of both cannabis and crypto. And it leads for some very dynamic conversations.
So, Chris, do you have any questions for Walt right now?
No, I mean, you know what? He's answered almost all the questions that we already had set up for him. So he's been doing great today.
So Walt, so let's end on 2 questions, okay?
Okay.
Yep.
First question is this. Tell us 3 things unique about WeGrow Data. Okay. And the second question is, tell our listeners one of your favorite cannabis conference stories.
Oh, okay. All right. So 3 things unique about WeGrow Data. Number 1 is, and this I say this a lot on our we give regular weekly AMAs, Ask Me Anythings. So if your audience wishes to find out more about WeGrow, please join us on our social channels. We stream our AMAs weekly live there. But one of the things that I often say is that WeGrow is a whole lot more than the sum total of the things that we do. WeGrow is the heart and soul behind it. And with that, I want to touch on the second thing that makes us really unique, and that is the team that we have. If you start to look into the backgrounds of the individuals that sit at the top of WeGrow, you're going to find a illustrious list of individuals who have a ridiculous career. We have the co-founder of New Frontier Data that sits on our team. We have the co-founder of Android. Yes, Android, that little operating system.
Oh, yes. I spoke to him on the phone with you guys a couple of times now. Very, very intelligent man. Very intelligent.
Yeah, so our team is really just a bunch of rock stars. We've got an award-winning hemp and cannabis grower from the days of yore. I mean, we've got just an immense catalog of knowledge that sits at the top of our organization. And when I'm looking at companies, that's probably the first thing that I look at as a differentiating factor is who's driving the bus. Mm-hmm. So I'm really proud of the team that we've got both driving and on our bus. And lastly, what I'll say is the proposition and the offering that we have through WeGrow Data for the hemp and cannabis supply chain and the industry. And that is the ability to accurately make data-driven decisions about the business operations that you're doing within that industry. And today there's so many gaps that exist due to regulations. And we've already spoken about a few brief of these, but it's those gaps that are handcuffing us as an industry to be able to make the major strides that we need. And so we're hoping to bridge a lot of those gaps and help the overall industry raise the water level.
And now tell us one of your favorite cannabis conference stories.
Well, it actually goes back to a recent conference, going back to the conference you and I were at in Vegas. And it was after that after party, interestingly enough, I was walking out of the hotel and I ended up bumping into somebody I consider a bucket list gentleman for me. He's one of those guys who I would love to just sit down with, and have an hour just to smoke a joint with. And that's Steve D'Angelo.
Okay, and nice.
Got a chance to bump into him. We didn't get a chance to smoke a joint, but we got the chance to share a few thoughts and for me to express my appreciation of everything that he's doing for the industry and for those that are still suffering and incarcerated. So that for me, that was, really touching to get a chance to just spend a few moments breathing the same air as Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. He's done so much and done so much with the Last Prisoner Project as well, too. I tell people that going to NECANN Boston that everyone here on the East Coast is out here for a treat because you don't really see Steve D'Angelo coming out to New England too often to do a keynote speech. So, it's something where I think people are really excited about. And I think it's going to really be very eye-opening for a lot of people as well, too.
Agreed. There's a lot of work still left to be done.
Exactly. Well, Walt, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here today.
Absolutely.
Keep up the great work at WeGrow Data, and we'll see you at NECANN Boston soon.
Thank you both. Much love. Thanks for the t-shirt.
Yeah, you got it.
Always, man. Always.
Look
Always.
at that. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, once again for watching The Next Level. We will see you guys soon. Make sure you head over to NECANNextlevel.com to get your workshop tickets. If you are watching this before March 1st, well, guess what? We have early bird pricing, so you can get in at the low early bird rate. Or if you wait till after, then you'll be paying full price. But head over to NECANNextlevel.com. Please make sure you visit Walt, connect with Walt. Once again, you want to text the words Walt to 88500 to connect directly with him. And you can go over to wegrowcoin.com, wegrowdata.com. You can use all the links in the show notes below to get access to everything that we discussed, including the share card as well. So if you want one for your own, you can use the link in this description of this video to get your own. So with that, we will see you guys next time.